always thanks to the I-Club for just running a great event, the band Spirit Squad for your support. You guys racked up on the raffles today again. And most of all, thanks to you for being here. Appreciate you supporting this. It's always a great way to kick off a home weekend. A little bit of an update, Bob referred to this a little bit or alluded to this. Norm Parker, his situation I think is getting much better. As I said in my press conference during the week that last week they were doing an awful lot of tests. I think last Friday things kind of came, plan came to fruition, if you will. And Norm is expected to get out over the weekend, hopefully on Sunday. He'll be back home and maybe joining us, or at least doing a little football work next week from home on a very limited basis. And then we're hoping we've got the bye week after that. We can get him back up and running a little bit, and hopefully he'll be back with us for the game after the bye week. And as Norm, only Norm could say, he said he's kind of like Tony Moyaki. He said he thought he'd be limited for Penn State, full speed for Michigan. So, Tony had a big game against Michigan, and we're counting on Norm to do the same thing for us. But he looks like he's doing much better, and it's going to be great to get him back with us for sure. Also on that front, Jewel Hampton had surgery yesterday. As I said on Tuesday, his injury from Saturday night was one that's going to require surgery. He had that surgery yesterday, and he's in great spirits. Saw him last night, ran into John over there at the hospital. Big surprise, but Jewel's in great spirits. He'll get out today and start the road back, and then unfortunately Bruce Davis goes in next Tuesday, I believe, for a surgery also. So, yeah, that's one of the downsides of sports, and anybody that competes, any players, any coaches, they always know that run the risk of losing. That's one thing every time you take the field or take the mat. It's a possibility, and then for players, injuries are a possibility as well, and I guess you could say the same thing about coaches. So it's just one of those things that, it's part of the game, and, the good news for both Jewel and Bruce is that they'll be back. Jewel has a couple years available, Bruce has one, and, we're optimistic they'll get back here in a short time and, be better than ever when they return, so we're looking forward to that. Just looking backwards for a moment, since last time we were together, as mentioned at the front of the program, Iowa State was a great weekend for us. The team really came out and played well, executed about as well as we have in my memory at least. And I'll just say this for the record too, it is a big game for us too. I know that the myth is out there, the perception's out there, and seems to get perpetuated. It's not as big a game for us as it is for them. I think it's a big game for both teams certainly, and we were thrilled to get the victory. Last week going down to Arizona, I think on the positive side, first of all, I thought our players really handled the trip well. It was our first time away from Kinnick, and it will be the only time in the first 5 games. So, I thought the guys handled the trip well. It wasn't an ordinary trip from the standpoint of traveling west and having a lot of time to kill. And I really thought they handled that just fine. And then the other positive certainly is the fact that we rallied back in that second half and gave ourselves a chance to win. And to me, the game was not like the Iowa State game in 2002, but the only parallel I would draw in that game, it went the other way. We jumped out front. They came back and took the lead. But I really felt in the game in 2002 we had an opportunity in the fourth quarter to get the job done, both the special teams, offense, defense. Any one of those areas could have gone out and taken care of things and gotten the job done. And we came up short, and I really think that's what happened the other night. Obviously this time we fell way behind. That wasn't much fun. But the guys battled, they fought, and they competed and stayed in there and gave themselves a chance to win the ball game. And again, then we came up short in all 3 phases, and that's the parallel I would draw. And the other parallel I would draw is, it's not the end of the season. It was just like that in 2002. It was a very devastating loss, a disappointing loss. I remember clearly, the sky was falling that weekend, and maybe that entire week. But the bottom line is you have to go back and look at, what you didn't do well, what caused us to have problems. And I think it's pretty apparent the other day. Our special teams were just absolutely awful, and then some things that we hadn't done well in practice, I think, showed up in the game itself. And those are the 2 things that we took away from the game. So, one thing about sports, you make it a learning experience. Fans, I think, can dwell on things. Players, coaches have to move on. And that's really the way we do things. We try to look at things on Sunday, analyze them a little bit, carry that into Monday a little bit, but then, Monday we have to turn our sights on the rest of the season, and more importantly, the next opponent and the things that we have to get better at. And that's really kind of where we're at as a football team right now. So, things we talk to our players about is, every game, whether we win or lose, learning from that, and then the next thing is you move on, and that's what we're doing at this point. That brings us to Ball State. We've got them this weekend. We go into it with the same four captains that we have had, Adrian and Carl Klute on the defensive side, Ricky Stanzi, Julian Vandevelde offensively. Our honorary captain is another with the wrestling team here. We got Mike Humble coming back to join us today and tomorrow. Mike was a tremendous high school wrestler. It's actually the first time I saw him. I saw him on a Saturday night watching the high school championships, and I think he won the 215 title as a junior. Kind of caught my attention, and next thing you know, he ended up being a pretty good prospect and had a tremendous career for us. Just an outstanding student athlete, was a tremendous student, excellent football player, and had to endure some hardships. He went through a knee procedure, knee surgery that was more difficult than any player I've ever seen or ever been around, and came back and had a tremendous career. So Mike's a great young man, great to have him with us. Yeah, and then really our focus this week has been on cleaning up, having better execution in practice, which I am happy to say I think this has been our best week of practice. And then the other area is special teams, and we've invested, we already invest a lot of time in special teams. We added even more to the schedule this week, primarily on the kickoff coverage team. That's something we're going to have to get cleaned up, or it's not going to matter what we do in the other areas. It just has been a real, sore spot for us the last 2 weeks. And coincidentally, the team that we play, their returner average is about 37 a return right now. Good timing, huh? He had a 67-yarder last week against Purdue, so he's an excellent return guy, and it's going to be a good test for us. Hopefully we'll show some improvement in that area tomorrow. Now, Ball State's a football team that's been competitive. 2 years ago, they were 12-2. Had an excellent team. They dropped back the other way a little bit last year, and right now they come in with a 1-2 record. The thing I'd emphasize to our players is in college football, you've got to be ready each and every week. Certainly what happened to Virginia Tech, and Norm made this point. I saw Norm on Wednesday night. He wanted me to relay to the team. Don't let a team beat you twice. Virginia Tech lost their opener, and a week later lose to James Madison the following Saturday. That's not something you want to see happen. And you look last week, Purdue jumped out to a 14-0 lead, and then into the fourth quarter, it's 14-6. 14-6, and then Purdue basically scored a fluke touchdown, pulled away from that point. So this is a team that's going to come in here. They're going to compete and fight. They've got some good players. They've got an excellent coaching staff. And what we need to do is be ready to go. We can't take things for granted. All you have to do, again, is look back to last year. Our two non-BCS games, UNI and Arkansas State. And, we didn't play the best in those two games. So we're hoping to get back on track. Our goal is to get back on track, show improvement in the areas that we struggled in last weekend, and then start moving forward. But again, there's a lot of football left. That's the thing that we've been focused on, and the most important thing is showing improvement from last week, certainly, and building some confidence that we can go on and play well during the rest of the season. That's certainly our goal. Is our goal coming into the year. Things haven't changed in that regard. So, we're eager to get back on the field. Certainly glad it's in Kenny. We'll look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow, and hopefully we'll have a great day. Thanks for being here this morning. Thank you.